I saw this thumbnail this week that got 1,700,000 views, which was an increase of 218% compared to what that channel normally gets. Now contrast that to 397 views that I'm usually getting on my channel. I needed to figure out how to make thumbnails that get me more views. And I've changed my process recently, and having changed how I approach making thumbnails, I'm now seeing 1 out of 10s like this on a much more regular basis. And that 1 out of 10 basically means that my thumbnails are getting more clicks and my videos are getting more views in the first 24 hours, 48 hours after they go live than the previous 10 videos that came before them did. So I've clearly made a change with my thumbnails, which are leading to them getting much more clicks and much more views. And in this video, I want to run you through the process that I have started following that has led to my thumbnails getting more clicks. And I'm going to run you through some examples throughout this live stream to show you exactly how to use that process yourself, how to follow the process of getting more clicks and more views on your YouTube thumbnails. So the new process I've been using is I've been modeling my new YouTube thumbnails on currently successful viral thumbnails that I'm finding on YouTube each week. Like the thumbnail you're seeing on screen now, I find thumbnails like this and I study them and I pick apart why I think that thumbnail did so well. Why did it get that YouTuber so many more views than all their other videos and all their other thumbnails? I reverse engineer the success of it and try and figure out what I can learn from that with my own thumbnails in the future. And I even steal these thumbnails and use them as templates for my own thumbnails. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to run through 6 currently trending viral thumbnails that you can copy yourself and use yourself on your YouTube videos to get more views. And I'm just going to look through them and run through why I think each of those thumbnails did so well so that we can try and learn about thumbnail design and what we need to include in our own thumbnails ourselves to get way more views than we're currently getting. So this first thumbnail that I opened the video with, there's 3 things I noticed that this thumbnail does really well that I wanted to talk about in this video. First off, you'll see on screen here, it's got a really simple background that makes the laptop pop out so the viewer can't miss it when they're browsing through. The YouTuber that made this video knew that the laptop is so interesting and so attention grabbing that they needed to just give all of the focus to this laptop and use nothing else in the thumbnail. The laptop alone was enough to get clicks. And if you think about it, that makes sense. Like, you can probably sometimes over-design thumbnails so that you take away focus and attention from the thing that is most interesting. And the creator knew that this laptop is so interesting, they didn't want to take away any focus from the item in the picture. So simple background, black background makes that laptop pop. Next up, the laptop is naturally a really bright item. So what the YouTuber's done with this thumbnail is they've used a dark background to make that light item, the laptop, pop out. If they'd use a light background with a light laptop on the front of them, there wouldn't be as much contrast between the two things, and the laptop would kind of get lost in the background, in the light background. But by having a clear separation of contrast here, the YouTubers made that laptop pop out straight away at anyone scrolling through their YouTube homepage and drawing their attention to what's interesting immediately. So I thought that was a really cool thing that this YouTuber did. And finally, for this thumbnail, the last thing I kind of noticed I thought was a strength of the thumbnail is they've just given the interesting thing, the laptop, they've given that interesting item the space to just take up that whole thumbnail. Like, they put that front and center and let it take up the whole space available for that thumbnail. And as I said before, that's because the creator knows that the concept behind this laptop, a double screen laptop, you've never seen a double screen laptop before. The creator that made this thumbnail knew that that alone is enough to get clicks. So they haven't hidden away from it. They've blown that laptop up full size and made it front and center, had the confidence to make it stand alone in this thumbnail, and it's worked wonders. Like I said, this video's got 1.7 million views. That's an increase of over 200% of what this creator usually gets, and I believe these 3 principles that I pointed out are a big reason why. Actually, something I'm doing is every week when I find these great thumbnails, I'm saving them in a document so that whenever I come to making a video in the future, I just open this document up, and the document's broken down by video type, so advice videos, interview videos, review videos. I just think, what type of video am I trying to make now? I come back to my stored library of viral thumbnails that I've seen, and I find a thumbnail template that I can use for the new video I'm making. And I model my new thumbnail on the template that I found from this document. I found it really useful just saving viral thumbnails to make my own thumbnails better. So I'd recommend you all start creating a document like this. If you want to access my document that I update every week with the latest viral thumbnails that I find, you can just click the link in the description and you can download this document for free. But on to thumbnail number 2. This got like 2.4 million views, so it was even more viral than the previous thumbnail. And one thing I've noticed, just before I get into the specifics of this thumbnail, one thing I've noticed about amazing thumbnails that go massively viral is the image alone. Even if the thumbnail didn't have a title, the image alone usually can paint a picture of what the video is about. It can tell a story to the viewer of what the video is about before the viewers even watch the video. The thumbnail is kind of like self-explanatory. So I've got a little challenge for you if you're watching this and I haven't told you the title of this video. Can you guess what this video is about or what it's called before I go to the next stage? Because I want to kind of prove a point that great viral thumbnails, this is a theory I've got, great viral thumbnails are self-explanatory. You can tell what the video is about just by looking at the image. So if anyone's in the chat and they want to guess what this thumbnail is about, I'd love to see the guesses. But let's look into what I noticed was stand out about this thumbnail and why I think it went so great and why it was so viral to get those 2.4 million views. First off, it mentions the video's target viewer in the thumbnail. This video was made for gamers. The YouTuber knew that gamers would be the people most interested in what the video is about, so it writes the word gamer in the thumbnail. So I was thinking, yeah, just think about this. If you're a gamer and you're scrolling through YouTube and you see a thumbnail that says gamer in it, that's you. Like, this thumbnail has called you out as a viewer and says, hey, this video is for you. So I really think by defining the target audience in this thumbnail is one of the reasons it went so viral, because it just immediately would have caught the attention of every viewer that this video was targeted at. So that's something I've taken away from this thumbnail that I'm going to use in my future thumbnails, and I think it'll be good for you too. Next up, the YouTuber has an exaggerated emotion in this thumbnail. The YouTuber looks worried, which makes someone scrolling through their homepage that sees this thumbnail, it potentially makes this video more exciting, because they're thinking, if I'm going to click on this image and watch this video, I'm going to see someone worried and put under stress and under pressure. And it creates a level of excitement, like it creates some stakes to the video by showing that kind of worried emotion. So I really think the exaggerated expression on this YouTuber's face in the thumbnail was one of the reasons why it went so viral and got 2.4 million views. And I don't think you just have to have a negative, like a worried expression. I think you could have any expression on your face. I think that they just naturally help to draw viewers in. But that's why I think this expression did so well on this thumbnail. And the final element to this thumbnail of why I think it was so successful and why it went so viral is they've blacked out the products. If you see this thumbnail, just when you're scrolling through YouTube and you see it's about gamer drinks, but the drinks are blacked out, that immediately creates curiosity inside you as a potential viewer. You're thinking, what are those drinks that he's holding in his hand? Like, what brands are they? Like, I need to know what these drinks are. It creates that level of curiosity. It creates like an open loop inside you that you need closure. You need closure to know what these drinks are. And that curiosity is going to win the click. It's going to bring a casual viewer that's scrolling through the YouTube homepage into watching the video to find out, one, why he's worried, and two, what these drinks are that he's holding. So those are the three big takeaways of why I think this thumbnail went so viral. I've saved this thumbnail into my growing library of great thumbnails I can use in the future for inspiration. And I'm just remembering each of these things as I'm looking through these thumbnails so that I can use these tactics and these tricks in my future thumbnails in the future. Just take a look through some of the live comments. So I asked you at the start what people thought this thumbnail was about. So Happy Cloud Gamer thinks it's about drinks. Yeah, you're definitely going in the right direction. I think it's saying gamer drinks at the top is a good indication of that. So yeah, the thumbnail is clearly providing a clear indication of what the video is about. Glenn Crow guessed that this video is about bad drinks for gamers. He's not smiling. So like I said, what I've taken away from this thumbnail is that great thumbnails paint a story about what the video is about before the viewers even clicked the thumbnails to watch the video. They already give the viewer an understanding of what to expect when they click into that video. And Glenn Crow points this out. It's about bad drinks. He's guessed this is about bad drinks. So yeah, you're both right. This video was about the YouTuber took 20 gamer drinks and he reviewed them from best to worst. So by guessing Glenn Crow that it's about bad drinks and by guessing that it's about drinks, Happy Cloud Gamer, completely right. This video was all about drinks and reviewing the best gamer drinks on the market. Right, moving on. Right, moving on to the next super viral thumbnail that I found this week that we can take inspiration from to make our thumbnails get more clicks and just become better thumbnail designers ourselves is this one, thumbnail 3 of 6. Before I get into the breakdown of why I think this is such a strong thumbnail and what I learned from it, I'd love for this thumbnail too, we can do the same as before, if you can guess what this video is about before I tell you at the end of this thumbnail breakdown. I'd love to see how accurate your guessing is because, like I said, I've got a theory that a great thumbnail makes it self-explanatory to the viewer what the video is about before you even clicked that video and started watching it. So see if you can prove my theory right in this one. Take a guess about what you think this video was on. And I'm going to start running through what I interpreted to be strong qualities of this thumbnail that made it so viral. This video, if I remember, got 400% more views for this YouTuber than his normal videos get. So a clearly super strong thumbnail that we can all learn from to make viral thumbnails ourselves. So first off, the arrow in the middle of the thumbnail shows that a transformation is going to happen. I've been studying viral videos, viral thumbnails, viral titles a lot recently, and transformation type videos are so overpowered. Like they come up so often in the viral videos I've been finding. And I think it's because as viewers, we like to see a journey. We like to see something go from one state to the next, and we like to learn about how that transformation happens. So putting the arrow in this thumbnail just clearly indicates to the viewer that's browsing through YouTube that this is a transformation video. They're going to see something go from stage 1 to stage 2. They're going to see the transformation happen. So having that thumbnail in there, I just determined from that it clearly shows that this is a transformation video, which just naturally gets people's attention because transformation videos just lend themselves to going viral. Cool. I'm going to have to change the screen quickly so we can see this point. Next up, it's got the Disney logo in it. A clear, recognizable icon that most of the world's going to recognize. And by putting this logo into this thumbnail, I just feel like this creator made this video appeal to such a wider audience than their videos would normally appeal to, because so many more people are going to know what Disney is than are going to be familiar with this creator. So the YouTuber's he's stealing that fame and that recognition that Disney already has and using it to get people to watch his video by putting the Disney logo in the thumbnail. So what I learned from that is anytime you can use a famous icon, person, brand, logo in your thumbnail, you're really boosting your chances of that video going viral. And that's one thing I'm going to take away from this. And finally, what's the third quality of this thumbnail that I have interpreted to have made this video go so viral and get so many more views for this YouTuber than it normally does? They blurred the end result. As I said from the arrow, this is clearly a transformation video where we start here and then something transforms into something else. And by blurring the end result, the YouTuber's created curiosity, again, in a casual viewer browsing through YouTube. The viewer seeing this thumbnail going, okay, this is a transformation, it starts here, but they can't tell immediately what the end result is. So that curiosity fires up inside them, and they're thinking, I've got to watch this video to see what the end result is. We're just naturally, whenever we get curious, we naturally want answers to our curiosity. And by blurring the end result and not showing it immediately at the thumbnail level, the YouTuber's luring people in to click that thumbnail and watch the video to get resolution, to get answers of what happened at the end of the transformation. So, recognizable icon and transformations are hugely why this thumbnail went viral, if you ask me. And that's my interpretation from it. Before I move on to the next viral thumbnail that I found that we can just use as templates and learn from to blow up our views and get way more clicks. This is exactly how I'm using these 5 thumbnails. Just going to go through some of the live chat, see what people are saying. But how come some videos that don't have a thumbnail get more views? That's a great question. I mean, I'm not a thumbnail expert. I've been getting 1 out of 10s recently by following the principles I'm showing in this, by finding thumbnails that already work and copying them. But if I had to hazard a guess as to why a video without a thumbnail gets more views, I would imagine that it probably just has such a strong title that when a casual browser going through YouTube reads the title alone, that's enough to get that viewer to click in and watch the video. And it might be that, sometimes, me included, we can be really bad thumbnail designers, and we can probably make a thumbnail that's so confusing and so distracting and so just underwhelming that it actually puts people off watching our videos. So it might be that if those videos actually had a thumbnail, but the thumbnail was just so ugly and uninteresting, the viewer might see that thumbnail first, not even read the title because the thumbnail has put them off so much that they just keep scrolling. But without the thumbnail, that distraction's not happening. The viewer is just reading the title alone and not seeing an ugly thumbnail. And the title alone is enough to bring that viewer in. If I had to hazard a guess, that's why I would have to guess that videos without a thumbnail are getting a lot of views. If anyone else has a different opinion on that than me, let me know in the chat. But that's just my first guess off the chest. And Glenn Crow said, okay, yeah, he understands why the second half of the image was blurred. It's because it creates curiosity in the viewer. The viewer has to watch the video to see the unblurred version that's being hinted at in the thumbnail. 100%. That's completely why I think this thumbnail did so well, because that curiosity it makes it impossible not to click on this thumbnail to get answers to your questions. So we can all use blurring to get more viewers for our videos. Let's move on. Let's check out thumbnail number 4. And like I said earlier in this video, every week I'm saving these viral thumbnails that I'm finding that are getting way more views for YouTubers than their normal videos get. Any thumbnail that I find that blows up and just goes massively viral, I'm saving it in a Word document, just so in the future when I want to make my own thumbnails, I can come back, look at this document, find a thumbnail that's worked amazing for someone else, and basically just mimic and copy that thumbnail template for my thumbnail that I'm making in the future. If you want to get that free list of thumbnails I'm building myself week in, week out. There's a link in the description. Pop your email address in and I'll send you the most up-to-date list of viral thumbnails that you can just click on, and it's got a breakdown of why every thumbnail is so great and how you can kind of replicate that thumbnail yourself. All right, moving on to thumbnail number 4 of 6 that I've seen on YouTube this week that's gone massively viral, got the YouTube creator so many more views than they normally get. I believe this thumbnail got the YouTuber 400% more views on this video than this YouTuber normally gets on his channel for any other of their videos, is this thumbnail here. There were two main things that I kind of took away from this thumbnail about why I think it did so well that I'm going to remember and use in my thumbnails in the future, and I think people here will benefit from knowing and using themselves in the thumbnail. So I'm going to get into those two things now. But like I said earlier, I think a great thumbnail, as well as having like a great visual design, it also tells a story. I've got a theory that a great thumbnail is so self-explanatory when you first see it that you know immediately what that video is going to be about. You don't even need to read the title. The thumbnail just paints such a vivid picture that it's self-explanatory. So to put that to the test, I'd love to ask the people in the chat, can you guess what this video is about without me telling you what the title is? I'll tell you what the title was at the end of this thumbnail breakdown, but let me know in the chat if you can guess what it was about before then. So let's get on to why I think this thumbnail did so well and was so viral. Just going to have to change the screen quickly so we can see this. So this thumbnail has a massive question pasted on top of it. And what I believe that question does to the casual viewer browsing through YouTube is, I think that question opens an open loop in the viewer's mind. The person that reads this question thinks, well, I want to know the answer to that question. Is having money, is the work it took you to do to get money worth it? Like, is the struggle worth it? I need to know the answer. So my theory here is that this unanswered question pasted full size on the thumbnail just creates so much curiosity within the potential viewer that they have to click that video to get the answer to that question. Those open loops I'm learning myself from looking through these thumbnails are just so powerful in getting us views. So that's the first reason why I think this thumbnail did so well. The second reason is simplicity. This thumbnail only has 3 major elements in it. It's got person number 1, it's got person number 2, and it's got the big ass question that we just spoke about a second ago. Everything else is just kind of background that you don't really notice. It's just kind of, makes things look a bit nicer. But those 3 major elements are the only thing that the creator decided to really make prominent and really make stand out in this thumbnail. And just by putting attention on those 3 things, they've used a degree of minimalism here, simplicity, that, oh, wrong size, simplicity, and I think that simplicity just makes the image just so much more powerful. If you only have a limited amount of things to look at, you immediately focus on them more, compared to if there's way more going on. If there's a lot going on in the thumbnail, you don't really know where to look, and it just gets messy, and you don't really understand what the thumbnail is about immediately. But by keeping it simple, 2 people and a question, it makes it so much easier to know what the thumbnail is about, to see what's important in the thumbnail, and decide if you want to watch it as a viewer. So yeah, nice and simple, this thumbnail. This video, I believe, got 2.4 million views, around 400% more views for the YouTuber than it normally gets. The video was about interviewing, I think it was about interviewing 70-year-old billionaires to ask them if they have any regrets. And you can see the question that's been included in the thumbnail, was the money worth it, completely relates to the topic of the video, asking billionaires if they have any regrets. And like I said, the thumbnail alone, you don't even really need to read the title. You can tell from the thumbnail what the video is about. This guy looks pretty wealthy. He's in a big, nice house with a really grand fireplace. He's clearly got a lot of money. And then he's asking him the question, was the work it took to get that money worth it? So a really self-explanatory thumbnail. really clean, minimal thumbnail. I think that's my two biggest takeaways from this thumbnail. If you've got any more yourself, I'd love to know what they were in the chat. Cool, so yeah, I did ask you actually to guess what this video is about before I told you what it was about, because like I said, I believe that a great thumbnail paints a picture and tells the viewer what it's about without even having to read the title. You can just understand what that video is about from a glimpse of the thumbnail. Glenn Crowe guessed that it was an interview with a bank robber. Well, someone had a lot of money, but it wasn't a bank robber, it was a billionaire. And Richard Codes guessed that the video was about figuring out if working too hard for money is worth it or not. Completely right. So I think that really just proves it. Great thumbnails basically tell the viewer what the video is going to be about before they've even had to read the title or reading text. It's just, it paints a picture. It paints such a vivid story. They're self-explanatory, and there's the proof there. So let's move on. Thumbnail number 5. You might recognize this YouTuber, Channel Makers. If you're watching my videos, you've probably watched a ton of their videos too. This thumbnail got a ton of views. I think it got like 5 times more views for Nate, this YouTuber, than his channel normally gets. And I really think the thumbnail painted a large part in why it got so many views. So let's break down what I took away from this thumbnail and why I think it was so great. I'd love to hear your opinions too, if you have any. First off, simple backgrounds. By having a clear background with no distractions and nothing going on, I really feel like it makes the YouTuber stand out. It's a clear, plain white background, and then we've got the person there in that black t-shirt, black against white. It's just standing out so strongly, isn't it? It just really makes him pop. So I really think that played a part into why this thumbnail did so well. Clear background to not distract anything from the subjects in the front, and actually makes the subject pop out even more. Next up, black t-shirt pops against white background. I got ahead of myself a second ago, I've already done that. But by using contrasting colors and contrasting tones, that's one thing I'm noticing a lot from viral thumbnails that I'm studying. You really make the thing in the foreground pop out and stand out by using contrasting tones. Black against white, white against black, red against white. Like, these are just contrasting colors that really create a strong exaggeration of what is in your thumbnail. And finally, third quality I believe this viral thumbnail had that we can learn from and use in our own thumbnail is he's written niche down on a trash bag. Now, if you're a YouTuber, if you're in this YouTuber's target audience, niching down is something, it's a piece of advice that you hear all the time. Like, everyone always says niche down. That's the best thing to do if you're a YouTuber. You know, YouTubers are people that watch this person's videos. So basically what the YouTuber's done here in this thumbnail is he's basically said this piece of universal advice that you believe and everyone says is the right thing to do, that advice is trash. Like, you should throw that advice out. By painting that advice on a trash bag, he's drawing in your attention because you're thinking, wait, have I been doing things wrong the whole time, and am I being told still to do things the wrong way? So that juxtaposition of commonly agreed on and like accepted advice and actually, no, this is trash, this is rubbish, that contrast I think really ignites some curiosity within a viewer that they just have to have answered. Like, okay, well, if that's wrong, what is the right thing to do? They have to click this thumbnail to find out the answer to the questions. The thumbnail creates questions inside of the viewer that they feel they need to have answered. So they have to click the video to get that curiosity answered. And like I said, I believe this is just basic primal psychology that's being hacked into here. As people, we need to find answers to our questions. We hate being left in the dark and having unanswered questions. And a common attribute I'm finding across all of these massively viral thumbnails that I'm studying each week is that they create curiosity within them. Whatever is going on in those thumbnails makes the viewer curious. And that curiosity drives clicks and drives people to watch those videos to get the answers. So Channel Makers has used it here in their thumbnail. the same as a lot of other examples I have shown today. By using curiosity in our thumbnails, we can encourage way more clicks than usual. That's my takeaway anyway. If you have any more different opinion than I do than that, or you have any different interpretations of why this thumbnail did so well, I'd love to know in the chat. I'm just going to take a few minutes to see what the chat's saying before I move on to the 6th thumbnail. So yeah, Glenn's liking this thumbnail. It's a really good thumbnail. I actually forgot to mention, really, look at his face as well. Like, he looks disgusted. Yeah, he just looks like he's rejecting what's in front of him. So his face is kind of really drawing in something like curiosity too. Like, why is he so disgusted, and what does he know that I don't know? So as we showed in an earlier thumbnail, exaggerated expressions is just something I'm seeing again and again and again in viral thumbnails that I'm going to start using in my thumbnails to get more viewers. It just seems to be such a common trait that viral thumbnails have that I don't think we really should ignore in the future. So exaggerated expressions, either hyper negative or hyper positive, get them in your thumbnails. That's what I'm seeing across the board with viral thumbnails. And yeah, Glenn Crow guessed when I said, oh, can you guess what this video is about, before me even telling you the title of the video. He guessed that this video was about throwing out old ideas for making YouTube videos. 100% correct. The video was called something like outdated YouTube tips that you shouldn't do in 2023. So Glenn was completely correct with that. And that just goes to validate my argument even further that the most viral, strong YouTube thumbnails are self-explanatory. You can tell what the video is about by just looking at the thumbnail alone. You don't even need to read the title. And the title just kind of complements and partners up with the thumbnail. That's what I'm seeing again and again with the viral thumbnails that I'm looking at. So I think we can really learn from that takeaway. Cool, let's have a look at the final, but by no means inferior thumbnail. Viral thumbnail, this one, this is hugely viral for this YouTuber. I think this was getting nearly 500% more views for this YouTuber than his other videos get. So we can really learn a lot from this thumbnail on how to, make our thumbnails as viral as possible. As usual, if you're watching live, let me know if you can guess what this thumbnail is about before I get to the end. I'll tell you what the title of this thumbnail is when I get to the end of the breakdown. But we're going to rip this thumbnail apart and see what we can learn from it so that we can make viral thumbnails ourselves. What have they done with this thumbnail that we can do ourselves in our future thumbnails? Or what's the template for this viral thumbnail that we can copy to make viral thumbnails ourselves in the future? So my first takeaway when I broke down this extremely viral thumbnail to try and learn how to do it myself is they have a large monetary sum front and center on the thumbnail. Like, we're fickle creatures as people. If we see a large amount of money, we're drawn to it. It gets our attention straight away. So by making this number so big in the thumbnail, that YouTube is just is playing into that primal, instinctive way that our brain works of just noticing big monetary figures. And I saw, you probably watched a YouTube channel, if you watch my videos, you probably watch Film Booth. I saw a video from him recently where he backed this up. He said, by having pictures of money in your thumbnails or by having big monetary figures in your thumbnails, it's like a cheat code for YouTube. But he said that you can just hack people's brains and immediately get nearly 2x more views on that video compared to if you'd made a thumbnail without including money in it, because money has just such that strong effect on us as people. When we're just browsing through things, we're just drawn to money. So by using money in this thumbnail, he's drawn in way more viewers than he normally would. That's my takeaway from seeing that figure. Next up, he's used that monetary figure is in a light box. It's got that white light box that it's sitting on top of. And the light white box is sat against a dark background. And the fact that you've got light on dark, there's a contrast there between tones, light and dark. So it makes that box pop out way more. That contrast makes it stand out so much And it just brings even more attention to that monetary number. And like I said, we're a sucker for money. So any attention that the YouTuber can do to drive our attention to that monetary number is going to increase our likelihood of clicking on this thumbnail as viewers. So the contrast just brings more attention to that monetary number. And finally, everything inside that white box, I believe, tells the viewer enough about what this video is about. He sees that this much money came from this many customers in this time frame. So immediately, if you see this thumbnail, you know immediately this video is about how to make money with having from customers. It's going to have something loosely to do with that. Now the video was about product ideas that you can sell online to make money. And that thumbnail demonstrates that perfectly. You just look at this thumbnail, you know it's going to have something to do with making money through selling to customers online. So the thumbnail just is completely self-explanatory and just tells the viewer browsing through YouTube immediately what this thumbnail is about. So anyone who has an interest in selling products online and e-commerce sees this video, immediately knows that this video is about what they're interested in, and it's just drawn to clicking the video so much quicker. Because there's no misunderstanding there. They just know this is a video for me, targeted at me, based on what I'm interested in. Boom, click in. There's no confusion, and the video doesn't get overlooked for something else. So those are my takeaways of why this thumbnail did so well. Large monetary figure plays into our psychological weakness and attraction to money. The contrast just brings even more attention to that box that has a monetary figure on it. And the thumbnail tells the viewer everything they need to know to let them know that this is a video for them, and removes resistance from seeing the image to clicking and watching the thumbnail. As I mentioned throughout this video, I am just building an ever-growing library of viral thumbnails that I'm seeing every week that are getting way more views for the YouTubers. Let me just come over here. That are getting way more views for the YouTubers than their other videos normally get. And I'm saving all of these viral thumbnails into a document. I'm breaking down each thumbnail and trying to figure out what made them so viral. And I'm creating this massive document of templates that I can use for myself and my videos in the future, so that whenever I need to make a new video, I don't have to go through all the hassle of trying to think of a thumbnail idea. I can just come into this document that I've been building up of template thumbnails, find the perfect guaranteed viral thumbnail template, and use that template for the thumbnail for my newest video. I can copy what's already working from other people. And like I said before, I've been getting 1 out of 10s recently from just modeling my thumbnails on what has been successful and what I'm seeing going viral for other people in YouTube currently. So like I said, you can grab that document of viral thumbnails, the template, by clicking the link in the description, pop your email address in, and you'll get emailed a document of all the latest thumbnails that I've seen going viral for other people, so that you can copy those thumbnails and hopefully go viral and skyrocket your views too.